right, let's get a rapid game going. And we're going to stick to our longer time control repertoire as we're facing a guy that's played 782 rapid games. Not much blitz, and he's really good at waiting on the first move. Got it. Okay. I'm feeling this E3 variation again. Well, with D6, that changes my mind. E3, D4, they could take, get a game. I'm just going to go G3 now. And we could, with G6, end up getting a King's Indian. And if G6, I'll probably go D4 straight away. This, I'm not too much of a fan of for black. Unless it's something I've never seen before, this pawn's just going to be lost. I have Bishop G2 and Queen C2 as follow-ups here. Okay, that's going to leave that pawn weak. And what am I missing? Queen E7, Queen C2, E3, Queen takes F5, E takes F2, King takes F2. No discoveries of note or merit. So, Queen C2, Knight C6, Knight G takes E4, Knight D4, Queen B1. Looks like more than enough to just get the pawn back. Lots of tension. And my point was on either Knight B4 or Knight D4, I'll just go Queen B1. And since I'm not seeing it, I'm either about to learn a lesson here or just be up a pawn. Right. So we will break the pin, add more defense, and get ready to trade down, simplifying the win. Okay. Queen D1, Knight E4, Knight E4, Bishop E4, Bishop E4. Do I even need to go Queen D1 or Queen B1? Queen A4 hits the A pawn. I'm just going to go solid right now. Like, I am fine, I believe, with Queen A4. And it'll probably be the engine's first choice. But with the complications, I want to resolve some of the tension here first. And it looks like things are working out quite well for me. Okay. Now we're safe. And I like capturing this way, putting pressure on the knight and getting ready to utilize the open B file in conjunction with the bishop, and the queen can come over. Bishop does quite a good job, especially with the queen still on E7, blocking in that bishop. I don't think this is going to bode too well. All right, let's go bishop E3. Should we go bishop E3 first? Because he goes queen A3. Let's go rook B1 first. If I'm not worried about bishop E4, bishop E4, queen E4, D E4, rook there, queen there. So let's just utilize the open B file. And black's development is still awkward. As soon as I move the queen off of this pin, my knight is just centralized and good. Okay, and then this is why we make moves like that. You induce this kind of move, and I have no idea why it's played. So I'm going to go bishop E3, and that's going to set up knight C5 and some subtleties. And how encouraging. It's like I have my choice of good moves here, which is an excellent place to be in. Bishop G5 can, in the very least, get something. Bishop G5, queen moves, I take on D8, he takes on E4, I retreat the bishop, I get the exchange. Knight C5 was what I was looking to do. But I'm leaning more towards bishop G5 since he's been so accommodating. Expected a capture on E4. Under pressure. How to defend. If queen A4, discoveries don't work. Queen A4, knight A5. That's an interesting. Queen A4, knight A5, queen takes A5, B takes A5, bishop B7, king B8, bishop C6, king C8, and you almost have enough, but not quite. So I'm going to start. Should I start with that move? Doesn't help anything. Queen A4, why not go for queen B5? So if knight A5, you have queen A6. Queen B5 also has the benefit of hitting this pawn in some variations. And if queen B5, king B7, knight C4, with the idea of knight A5 check, the pawn can't capture and the knight can't capture due to the pin. Sold myself on that idea. Knight b8 is playable. And just going to sit the queen there. Just stay flexible. Induce more mistakes. Now I have a target. And the situation gets worse. And in this type of position, it's not a question of if I'm winning. It is making a game out of trying to be as critical as possible. Have different ideas with knight c4. With the queen on d8, it does make the b6, which is a sacrifice point, stronger. So it makes me abandon those types of ideas pretty quickly. I do like the idea of knight c4, knight takes a5 though, whereas b takes a5 is met by bishop b7 mate, because the queen's cutting off squares. Let's go with knight c4, activates a piece, gets one closer to the king. I was considering one idea, but then upon retrospective, knight takes a5 looks good. And you're also, if some random move, bishop b7 is still mate. If he doesn't capture on a5. Okay. Okay, this looks like the most forcing continuation, where I have rook takes b6, if pawn takes, knight takes, forking king and queen. And if rook takes, some random move, also have queen e8, queen d8, rook takes b8, king takes b8, queen takes d8. So I feel like this is the best attempt, and I'm hoping for queen d7, where I still have the rook takes b8 tactic. My initial reaction was I'm attacking, so I wanted to preserve the bishop on the long diagonal. But if I play a move like e4, it more than likely was just weakening, which was a shame. Lots of strong moves here. I kind of like the idea of sacking the rook for the knight. Rook takes, king takes, rook b1. If the king steps on the a file, queen takes a5 is gonna end things pretty abruptly. Rook takes, rook b1, king c8, queen takes a5 anyway, where I'm threatening what exactly? Is it necessary? Or can I keep the tension here and go something like queen takes a5, bishop f2, queen a5, bishop f2, rook f2, queen a4, knight, or queen a5, knight a5, c takes. Get a couple pawns there. I'm going to just go with my first reaction in the position. We still have the ability to bring him over, still have the ability to take multiple ways. d4 is also a strong move in order to prevent the bishop from eyeing our king and any sort of potential sacrifices in the future. So something like h5, I'll strongly consider d4, and also because of the pin, that's pretty annoying. c6, rook takes a5. Same threat of d4. Knight c6, doesn't do anything, d4. Queen d7. Rook takes b8. Wins the queen. There's a lot of landmines here. Okay, knight c6, like I said, d4, knight c6 doesn't do anything. Isn't that right? d4. Yeah, he can't even take on d4. Painful. Yeah, sometimes I find myself not having the discipline that I should. Like right then, I wasn't thinking of anything. I should be trying to figure out what he's going to do, but sometimes I find it to be a waste of energy when it's a position like this. He must take with the queen. That would threaten mate, but it also allows counterplay. So I am wanting to throw in that move. Queen d7 again is met by rook b8. Queen takes a5 also looked good, but I wanted to activate the last piece. That's not doing anything. Also threaten mate. Can't even play bishop b6. Shouldn't self-pin. But hard to recommend what else to do after e3. Do you even have a move here? King d8 is met by rook d1. Can't even run. c6 is met by rook b8. King c7. Rook 1 to b7 is mate. So c6, rook b8, king d7, rook 1 to b7, king e6. I more than likely can take the rook because he doesn't even have check on d1 because my queen's still covering. And with 3.5 minutes, it's an eternity. And we said that you couldn't do that. Not much to think about here. Bishop's falling, etc. Okay. And overall, like I said, as soon as I saw e4 in the opening, especially with a pawn on d6, I felt like this was just a blunder. But apparently c6 is playable according to the engine. Yeah, that's tricky. Interesting compensation for black. Yeah, I'd never seen that before. Still a position I would play. Let's see. D3 has been played before. Looks like a 2600 in 1992, long before the age of computers that we have now. Tried to get fanciful, and White knew what he was doing. And looks like the 2600 got his butt handed to him pretty quick here. Yeah. Yeah. You can't fund certain players, I'm telling you. It's like I might be able to get away with it and blitz when playing against certain guys, but I just think it's crazy. Oh yeah. Missed that tactic. That would have been good. But, you know, like I said, it would like queen a4. But I wasn't sure about the complications. For instance, of castles, queen e8. I mean, it's still winning. But notice no big eval change between queen d1 and queen a4, and the engine started liking queen d1 better. It likes knight takes better here. Fair enough, but I don't really care because I wanted to keep the queen on the bad square. I like bishop b3 better. Knight c5, and if b6, queen a4. I didn't consider this. Where the best option black has is queen takes c5. For instance, if a5, knight takes. Yep, missed a win on the spot there. But wasn't exactly a difficult position. Queen d5 is more accurate. And why didn't I take the free piece? Yeah. I just can't seem to... I mean, I'll find moves like rook takes b6, but I won't just take the hanging piece sometimes. No idea what's wrong with me. And e3 was fine. And yeah, it liked that just fine. Interesting overall. Yeah, I guess some of these pawn sack lines are playable for black, but not with this particular move order. My opponent just got creative on move 4, and I really wouldn't recommend doing this against especially a higher rated player. If you're the lower rated guy, and try to stick to theory. That's going to get you through. But if you're the higher rated guy, occasionally doing these types of weird moves against a much, we'll say 400 point plus lower rated player, you can definitely get away with it. But a good example there, it didn't exactly work for the 2692. So competent players can't exactly get away with everything sometimes. So do normal stuff. Normal stuff.